Okay. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. What happens when intimacy is constricted, when people are abstaining from intimacy, meaning they abstain from haram, of course, and that is something commendable, there is something good, and we find that with certain people amongst the Sahaba or the followers, the Salaf, we'll find some stories, right? People are talking sometimes about these things, but if you compare it to the amount of Sahaba who were married and who chose marriage, you'll find that it's a very small number. And again, I want to take you back to the story of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the issue of abstaining. As the Sahaba said, I will not marry. I'll not marry. And some hadith say that even that they wanted to be, celibate forever. And the Prophet sallallahu forbade him that. The Prophet sallallahu forbade him to do that. We know that in some religious backgrounds, in some religious spheres, people would practice castration, some monks and so on. If they would have any desire, they would practice flagellation, they would beat themselves, right? Like, what happened to Jesus, right? That he was beaten with the whip. And sadly, when we look again against the overwhelming evidence of the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talking about the issue of intimacy. Again, the Prophet ﷺ said, nikah is my sunnah. Whoever doesn't do it is not from me. So, yeah, a lot of people when I talk about this issue, they'll say, no, because why is Islam is all about this? So I just received a message. Again, putting it out there, you find, I would say, 5% of the messages that I get will be something about like, why are you talking about this, brother? Is that all it is about? It's all about desires, and it's all about desires. Everything is to do with desires. I'm just looking at a commercial that's passing by me, Pringles, that's basically showing desire. As I'm saying that it's just all over, wherever you look. It's funny, I'm talking about it. And everywhere is desire. And Islam, it's like everywhere there's food, everywhere there's air, everywhere there's things, everywhere there's life, And Islam comes to not limit it and cut it down. Islam comes to direct it on the right path. Islam comes to bring it to the right way. To direct you to do it in a correct manner, not to stop it, don't do it. So the concept of being celibate and just not doing anything, this is not something Islamic. Sadly, because a lot of the Muslims are growing in Western countries and they've been conditioned, and not taught Islam the proper way. Like, we're always taught that. I'll just give you a small example that really kills me. I was just talking to someone recently and says that, look, I want to be like the Prophet ﷺ. He forgave everyone. And no, he never did anything to anyone, never conflict. And I want to be like that. I said, mashallah, it's great. But I said, it's not always that happened, right? And he said, because my friends are making fun of me because I never stand up to a conflict. If someone has problems with me, I just let it go. I said, okay, that's nice too. Idfa billati ahsan wa idha khatabakum al-jahiluna qalu salama. But put everything in context. Understand. And I always say to people, when the Prophet ﷺ entered Mecca, right? Everyone likes to say how the Prophet ﷺ he's the most forgiving, nothing happened. There were 6 people that were blacklisted to be executed, even if they're holding on to the black cover of the Kaaba. You know that. We never talk about that in Fath al-Mecca, or it's like put down, We love to say, the Prophet ﷺ forgave everyone when he entered Fath al-Mecca. When he did Fath al-Mecca, he forgave everyone. He's the most, yeah, I know, he is. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ لِرَحْمَةِ الْعَالَمِينَ. But there are certain instances and certain times when, yeah, that's the default, but hey, when the Prophet ﷺ had to lay the smackdown sometimes, he did. What I'm trying to say is that the way we teach Islam to the Muslims and the non-Muslims, it is selective. We avoid certain things. We are sometimes academically dishonest. Sadly. And in my experience, in my the first era, the first decade of Islam, when I worked with a lot of new Muslims and apostates and people who left Islam and missionaries who attacked Islam and Orientalists, I could summarize the era that the main problems of people getting confused about Islam, Muslims who either embraced Islam recently or born Muslims, was that they didn't learn Islam properly. So the novelty effect kicked in, things that they heard. But I was taught that the Prophet forgave everyone. But I was taught that the Prophet was he didn't do this and he didn't do that, and I didn't know that he did this. And then okay, I'm gonna leave Islam. I don't think he's a prophet if he behaves like this. Allahu Akbar. And I used to say, so if we would have just, and I went through that because I was also taught Islam that everything is just, oh, so cute, so soft, so nice. We don't do anything. We don't raise our hand. And I believe it's meant to be like that, to make us docile, sheep, to just accept everything that anyone says, and you never ever stand up for your rights and for anything. That's one of the things that I've concluded after my long experience. Back to the main point. Okay, back to the main point, the issue of intimacy. There's no such thing as being celibate and being, to just abstaining and so on. And, if you ask someone, hey, the Prophet he told us to fast. Yeah, he told us to fast, but he told you first get married if you can. And when you look at the requirements for getting married, and then again, what's the objective of getting married? People think the objective of getting married is to just look at each other. No, one of them is, because it's called nikah, or those who speak Arabic, one of the objectives is to be together, to have intimacy, to have that bond of love and compassion and passion between each other. People look forward to that, isn't it? It's the companionship as well. But again, we don't divorce. I'm going to keep repeating. We don't divorce the act of making love, from expressing love, from being together, from being, from loving each other. So, the Prophet said fast, but many people can't fast, and they do fast, and still they cannot stop themselves. And we see then the Prophet also would have fasted himself only. He's telling the youth that this is what you should do. He's advising, he's helping them. Marry if you can. If you cannot fast, marry, then fast. And this is better, to abstain yourself for your soul if you cannot marry. But if you can marry, and he said that, even some of the Sahaba were married for a mahr of Surah Al-Fatiha or something, or teaching some Quran, or a small ring. Today we want $50,000. Then the parents say, Sheikh, I don't understand why my son is addicted to pornography, Sheikh. Sheikh, I don't understand why my daughter ran away with some non-Muslim. Sheikh, we have to find them. Sheikh, she's pregnant and she's not even, I thought she's virgin, Sheikh. So I say, sister, so did you try to get her married or something, or get her married or help her get married? Yeah, 2 years ago she came to me, she wants to get married, but it's not time, Sheikh, because she has to do school, Sheikh, she has to go to university. Okay. Or, Sheikh, we were gonna get her married, but he couldn't, he was not man and he couldn't pay the mahr. Sorry, sister, how much is the mahr, by the way? Sheikh, it's just $50,000, Sheikh. It's not, our family, we have to, she's a good daughter, we have to. Oh, $50,000. Okay, mashallah. Yeah. So it's better now that she's pregnant, right? And she ran away with a non-Muslim. Okay. Now you call me before you're fighting with me. Don't talk about this thing, Sheikh. It's not good. It's not in our culture, Sheikh. Okay. Damage control. Now, okay, let's start working. Where is she? How do we do? What's going on? Come on, man. It's let's follow the sunnah. Yes, fast. And a lot of people will fast, and then they still find that because fasting is a measure to just delay it a bit. But we're reaching 35. Brothers are 35 and they're not married. Sisters are 35 and they're not married. And it's worse for sisters because now the brothers are all picky. They want 19-year-old, nice, beautiful sister. And the 35-year-old sister's what do I do now? And subhanAllah, in Muslim countries, how many sisters are in their 40s and they're still virgin? They have not been married yet. And the family is we're just waiting for the right person, And I'm so who is that? Well, they have to have money. Okay. And they have to be from our tribe. Okay. And, like one of our cousins. Okay. I'm not making fun, but this is the reality, guys. And then people say, I want you to fast. Yes, the Prophet ﷺ said, fast. But that's the reality is when we said, what we should do and what people actually do. I'm going to meet people and they're 35 and they say, Sheikh, I want to get married. I'm dying. I'm getting messages. I'm meeting people. Parents are coming to me, after Jummah, after khutbah. Sheikh, please. And what should I type? Fast. The Prophet ﷺ said, yeah, fast. But he's like, I fasted already. I can't take it anymore now. I need a person. It's funny because fasting diminishes the sexual desire to an extent. But then you break your fast. Then you cannot fast every day. You put yourself on a schedule of fasting, okay. But then you also miss the companionship of being with someone, of establishing a family, right? People are accusing me that I'm focusing only on the sexual thing of these things, of these series. And then I'm saying, okay, so fasting only deals with that part. What about the companionship, the kindness, the love, that you want to have someone with you, you want to establish a family? How that fasting doesn't take that away. So, subhanAllah, let's go back to the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. I always end up, and I always say, the solution to our problems is going back to the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Going back to the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. So it's not being celibate, it's not being like monks, it's not being like this. For some time you can, fasting this, but it's not the permanent solution. The permanent solution is marriage. And we have to facilitate it, and we have to make it easier. And we cannot put all these blocks in the way and then say, oh, brother, what happened to my kids? I don't understand. I didn't know there are things. Oh, brother, my daughter's become a lesbian. My son is gay now. He loves a man. She loves a woman. Or they're with non-Muslims. Or they've gone to commit zina. Or this or that. People come to me with these issues. I've been doing khutbahs for about 15 years. I would say, on average, after each khutbah, there's always a problem that's presented that's linked to some issues like that. So, and the message I said, people have real problems. People have real problems. Islam offers real solutions. Stop making things up and making things difficult. Let us have the discussion. I wait for your comments. Be polite. Okay, be polite. And give us what you think and what we can do, how we can help you. Message me with your real case issues so I can address them. I can show people that I'm not talking just from air. Alhamdulillah, I already have messages coming in, but it always helps, like in the Polygyny series, to give the perspective from both sides. Assalamu alaikum.